Hello and welcome to this explainer video where I'm going to be going through how here at the Smart Betting Club we can help you find the very best tipsters to follow and our procedures and how we review and how we report back upon them. And I have an example to share with you today with one recommended service, a really good service that we've used ourselves to make over £41,000. I'll be getting into that shortly. First of all, though, let me explain about our process. So we publish what we term tips to profit reports on a regular basis. Now, these are our way of reporting back on the results of those tipsters that we review and their ongoing performance. So, for example, we might have reviewed a tipster several years ago, and these tips to profit reports enable us to update you on their ongoing performance. So, the profit and loss that they've made on an ongoing basis, as well as obviously all the results information. We have analysis. We do performance in the context, so we can tell you any strengths and weaknesses, any concerns or issues that you need to be aware of on occasions. We also have league tables, analysis, and all kinds of contextual performance information, enable you to make the decisions that you need to do to find the very best tipsters for you. And within these reports, and also in the Smart Betting Club paid members area, we have what we term our Hall of Fame tipsters. Now, these are the best of the best, if you will, those services that we firmly and strongly recommend and advocate as having a really good chance of making you a substantial profit with your betting. And it's based upon longevity of excellence. Now, you can find many tipsters or betting experts, self-professed betting experts, especially on social media, on Twitter, who maybe have a good 2 or 3 months, maybe even 6 months, maybe even 12 months, depending upon how many bets they put forward. But the reality is many experts or tipsters don't actually last the test of time. They can't prove their success over several years. Whereas a Hall of Fame service, the average age of a Hall of Fame service is over 4 years. So only the best, most proven, profitable services make the grade. Those who have a record, not just based on luck over a small number of bets or a short period of time, but based on skill and the ability to beat a bookmaker or an exchange over several years. And many of those Hall of Fame services then offer special discounts, trials, and other benefits to you as a paid Smart Betting Club member. As an example of this, let me walk through the tipster I'm going to be showcasing today, which is called Winner Odds. Winner Odds is a tennis tipping service, which I will outline how it works later on in this video. This is the service that's made us such over £41,000. But based on the nature of the service, we were quickly able to build up a very clear picture of how it worked. From our first liaison with it back in November 2018, we started tracking it. I was in communication with Miguel, who runs Winner Odds at that point in time. We started to develop followed the service, started to use it, build up a understanding of its operation. We then worked very hard on our first review of Winner Odds, which was published in June 2019. And the magazine you can see on the right here, Winning Tennis Tips. That was all published, a very detailed review for members. Moving forward, then we continue to track Winner Odds and their performance in subsequent tips to profit reports. And lo and behold, later that year, in October 2019, so impressed were we that a Hall of Fame rating was applied. You can read an excerpt from that report, which is the image on the right there, the best sports tipsters rated and ranked. And you can see we had lots and lots of bets. The service, Winner Odds, had been in operation since 2016. We'd obviously had a full year's worth of analysis ourselves, during which time we had seen, during this period, seen 6,391 official bets. If that sounds a lot, well, I'll explain how it all works shortly, and that will all make more sense. Winner Odds also then put together that €50 discount on the cost of the service, which is still available to you as a Smart Betting Club member. Moving further forward to May 2022, we had a lot more data to analyze at this point. And based on its exceptional performance, even during the COVID-impacted years, which did impact tennis, as you might imagine, we did a full re-review of Winner Odds. That was in May 2022. It was a 19-page PDF. And we had over 50,000 bets to explore. We looked at performance to their minimum odds, their average odds, and their best odds. And based on that, and not only just that, but also our own real-life usage, which I'll get into very shortly, we continued to give it a very strong Hall of Fame rating. Before I talk about Winner Odds and the platform, I also want to reference the podcast that I did with the owner and developer of Winner Odds, Miguel Figueres, who talks about how he developed the AI algorithm, which evaluates value in any given tennis bet. It's a really good chance to listen to someone who's a real expert on betting, not just on tennis, but on betting. Miguel is based in Spain, and There's some really interesting court cases and legal work that they've involved in terms of betting restrictions and tackling that particular topic out there. And you can download episode 21. It's free of charge. Just look for on any podcast platform. Just look for the Smart Betting Club podcast there. So how Winner Odds works. So Winner Odds is based on, it's an algorithm. It takes any given tennis game and works out what the price should actually be. And when the price is greater than what they term the minimum profitable odds, that is therefore a value bet. It finds inefficiencies in bookmaker odds. It also uses a very efficient staking model based on Kelly staking, whereby you bet more where there is greater value in any given bet. Effectively, it will tell you how much to stake in line with your bankroll. So it provides you everything you need to know, not just the bets, but how much to stake and when those bets are actually valued, and also which bookmakers they are valued with. This is my next slide, and you can see you can choose the bookmakers you can bet with. On the right-hand side, you can see just a snapshot of those bookmakers there, from 10bet down to DAFA-bet, and obviously there's a lot more as well. You can pick and choose the ones you wish to get alerts from. You can also bet when you want, because alerts can come through any time of the day, and they will do. They'll come through overnight. Naturally, you're not going to get on every bet, but let's say for example, you can bet in every morning, or every afternoon, or perhaps you can bet just a few hours here and there every day. You can bet when it suits you and fit it around your schedule. Not only that, but you can also adjust your bankroll. You can see on the right-hand side, you can enter your bankroll and you can adjust that based upon how much money you have. So if you have more or less, or you want to put more into it or take a little bit out, you're able to do that as well. You can also set up notifications, because speed is of the essence with this kind of service. So you can get those via email, or also Telegram for instant messages via both just your phone and your laptop, computer, or tablet, as you so wish. Next, though, I'm going to show you my own real-life usage of Winner Odds. You can see the screen here, a profit of £41,000, yield of 5.38%, and a very profitable graph. So let me pick this up with my own Winner Odds account, and I will walk you through how I've actually done using the service. So here we are, our own Winner Odds account, and one that we've been using here at SBC. Now, the first thing to mention is that the profit has actually come down from what was a high of 41,000 in the presentation, the first video I showed you, first part of it, and now we're just at 39,852 only at. And you can see the yield has dropped down from 5.38% to 5.11. This sometimes is just the fluctuations of short-term performance. As you can see, there is a very significant long-term edge, but there's a little dip there at the top, which is the past week. And it's this that sometimes can separate the winners from the losers, that ability to look dispassionately at short-term losing runs. We've had perhaps another 160 bets since that period, and obviously we've made a short loss during that period. However, you can see that there is a significant profit. I don't think anyone's going to be too upset with this level of profit. And you can see the performance of my own account here. You can see the profit graph as my profits build. You can see the compounding takes place, and it's been a pretty steady graph upwards, growing in profit. There's some obviously dips along the way. That was a pretty steady, pretty big drop at that particular point. We plateaued at different points, but we can see we've gradually had the upward incline and continually made profit. In terms of the Winner Odds platform, let me show you as well the statistics that is actually really important. You can see the profit per week, and you can see how that has grown over the last 12 months or 6 to 12 months or so. And the really important point I wanted to highlight is the profit per odds range, because as I'll explain shortly as well, the majority of the bets that Winner Odds puts forward are going to be at odds on, and very often at heavy odds on, so very short. So between 1 and 1.2, that has generated the greatest profit for me. So 9,500 out of that 39,000. So pretty much a quarter of the profit has come between 1 and 1.2. So whilst you do have some losing bets that will lose between 1 and 1.2, and that can be very frustrating, of course, the reality is far more will actually go on to win than will actually lose. And that all equates to making a significant profit at heavy odds. As you can see, between 1 and 1.2 and 1.2 and 1.4, the majority of my profits have come. What you can see as well is the ROI increases as the odds go up. So between 2.5 and 3, I've got the highest ROI of 20.64%. However, that only accounts for 3,500 out of the total profit of 39,000. So less than 10%. So don't be fooled by ROI. Take a look at the bank growth. And the final thing I want to show you on this particular chart is the hit rate and odds range. This dashed line is the historical performance from every winner odds user. That's what you should be hitting. And you can see as I've nearly hit 9,000 bets, I'm pretty much on par with those between this particular odds range, and it only deviates here. I've done slightly better odds of 2.75, and coming back into about odds of 3.5, which is 5 to 2, marginally better than the expected strike rate. But those at 3 to 1 and higher, and my strike rate is actually 18.5%, and I should be hovering above the 20%. So you can see I'm pretty much on trend, apart from a few small deviations. And in terms of results, the logging here, as you can see, these are all bets that have been logged, and you can choose the bookmaker you wish to log them with. Or even if it's not the same bookmaker, you can log the price, and it's away, and it'll update the performance. So you can see here, this particular player lost. There's £12 on that one, and that lost at odds of 4.5. But this player, Luca Gianni, won £19 on at 2.25, and that was returned. Best thing about winner odds as well is that it'll update upon your performance. Tennis bets whereby maybe the game isn't finished based on the bookmaker. Each bookmaker has slightly different rules for tennis. But this is a really good example of a Hall of Fame service that works, and we've shown it works in real life. This is our own real life usage, our own skin in the game, using winner odds. And this is my own account here that I've been using. So if you're interested in this, you're interested in our process, this is just one example of the type of tipsters and how we report back on their performance moving forward, and using this particular service as an example of that and how it all works. So now you've seen the process at SBC and how we review tipsters. You've seen my winner odds account. You've seen the profits that have been made. You might be questioning, is winner odds right for me? Well, the first point to make is that it's only going to work with those of you that have soft bookmaker accounts. Effectively, that's most firms, aside from the likes of Pinnacle Sports and other sharp bookmakers. There's a few out there, especially out in Asia, as well as betting exchanges. There is some value with Pinnacle, there is some value with betting exchanges, but that value goes very quickly. And in terms of the exchanges, it really depends on liquidity. So I wouldn't really advocate it for them. It is only really for you if you have soft. By soft, I mean all bookmakers, like from likes of Bet365, Paddy Power, Ladbrokes, Betfair, William Hill, Betway, and if you're in like North America, FanDuel, DraftKings, Caesars, BetMGM, and wherever you are around the world, if you're in Australia, you're in Europe, there's lots of different bookmakers available for you. But if you don't have access to them, then I'm afraid it won't work for you. So it's only for those of you who have those bookmaker accounts available. Points 2 and 3, I'll join together. It only really works for those of you who have the time to make it work, plus the attitude of the more I put in, the more I will get out. And effectively what that means is the more bets you put through, the greater the bet volume, the greater the profit and the bankroll. Your bankroll will grow. So my own perspective, I take around 20 bets as an average per day. Now, if you're only going to take perhaps 2 to 3 bets a day, I would advocate you're not going to do enough to make it work for you. Even at very high staking, your variance is going to be quite high. It's much better to have, even if you do 10 bets a day as an average, that would be 70 a week. That will get you enough. That will get you a few, 200-300 a month, and you'll be able to grind through. Depending on your bankroll, it will depend how much you might make, but you're going to get the bet volume through, and you're going to see the fruits of your labor with that. If you're going to place 10 a week, it really isn't going to work for you. And you also need patience. It's really needed at times. You might have a week or two when you don't actually make much progress, and then suddenly you have a week where everything goes together. Now, it's not as if you're in good or bad form. It's just that the more bets you put in, the greater the likelihood you're going to see a profit graph going in the right direction. And it's also really important you understand about bank growth, and you can handle betting at very short odds. As you saw in my winner odds account, most of my profit has come heavily odds on, between 1 and 1.4. Now, that's not to say all of my bets at those prices go on to win. Hey, there have been so many that have lost, but there have been more, many, many more that have won at those short prices, and such that I've made a strong profit at that odds range. I often see people, there's a winner odds Discord channel, complaining, oh, this bet at 1.15 lost, this tennis player at 1.2 lost. They missed the point. The point is you just keep betting, and as long as you continue to beat the closing line and you're taking value prices, your bank is going to grow. So if you can avoid thinking too much about individual performance and individual results, especially at short odds, you will benefit from this service. So if you want to discover more, there are 5 things you can do. Number 1, listen to the episode 21 of the SBC podcast with Miguel Figueres. It'll give you a good background and understanding into him and his ability to find value in the tennis market. I really advocate going to check out the Winner Odds website, winnerodds.com. There's a ton of really good information on there, from the time that bets come out to how their staking plan works and to how their algorithm works, just all kinds of really good free information. So I really recommend going to see that. And if you wish to join us at the Smart Betting Club, there are 3 different things I can put forward for you to go and check out and benefit from when it comes to Winner Odds. First of all, the 2 reviews I've already mentioned, detailed reviews in SBC 111 and SBC 129. So if you want to understand a little bit more about how the service makes an edge and the different metrics that we have compared and analyzed them on, those 2 reviews will certainly help you. There's also a €50 discount on the cost of membership to Winner Odds. So SBC membership for a quarter costs slightly bit more than that, about £50. So with that, and you'll basically be able to join Winner Odds and only pay a small amount of money. There's also an advanced Winner Odds tips video that I have also recorded, which will give you my advice and guidance with hints, tips, and advice on maximizing the service, both in terms of practically setting up yourself through to the actual reality of placing those bets and eking out more value. So it's insight into how I have used Winner Odds to make the most of it myself. So there's some apps, there's technology, there's shortcuts that we can use. I'm talking about the bet release schedule when it's busier and how to prepare for it when bets might come through. Importantly, maximizing use of bookmakers, both major and small firms. We all know about Bet365, but do we know about the smaller firms that often take their odds from Bet365 and perhaps don't have the same processes in place to identify sharp players? Well, if you don't, my video will explain who they are and how to take advantage of them. I've also got some very salient advice how to take more value from your bets. Some strategical thinking that you can do, different types of bets that you can combine, whether it be multiples, both in terms of finding more value, extracting more value, and also getting more stake on, because that's all important. Sometimes when it comes to lower level tennis, your stakes are a little bit more limited. So by adding certain bets in, you can actually really improve that. So that also goes into my advice about going under the bookmaker's radar and enabling you to, obviously you're going to lose an account. If you're betting with a soft bookmaker, if you continue to make profit, you're going to lose that account. If we can push the time that account gets closed, then, and you can win a little bit more, then it's definitely worth doing that. And I also have some practical advice on how to stay strong mentally and to stick with this particular service when things go, when you have a bad week or when you have a few losing bets in sequence, but also how to stay calm when you actually start to win and how you can increase your stakes and continue to compound more profits. Thank you very much then for watching this today. If you are interested, go check out those free resources podcast on the website. And if you are a member or you're considering being a member, you can obviously read those reviews and get that discount and also go see my more advanced Winner Odds tips. So thank you very much for watching. And if you have any questions, that's how you can reach out to me, and I look forward to chatting to you.